Good evening, Night City. Welcome to Arasaka Arena Race 3 of the Firestone Champ Car Challenger Series season. We arrived to the half-mile oval in southern Night City, California, where 32 drivers hope to have their dreams of a national championship become a reality. 32 cars on a half-mile track. We know the chaos that came with 28 cars last year. We add 4 more. Anthony Polsatrix, first career pole position in Champ Car competition. On the front row, a 12.880. The pole time for Polsatrix and Fortune Racing, their first pole positions in Champ Car competition collectively, after Fortune Racing debuted last year in the World Series. Felicia Zappa so close to a race win 2 weeks ago in Phoenix. Will start where she finished that race, second place. Front row start for Zappa in Swift Autosport. Maria D'Amata, Dale Blanco, Isabel Espinoza, they round out your top 5. It's a very power-stacked top 5 for that conversation. Rex Rowley completes row 3 alongside Espinoza. Then you have Karina Sakurauchi. He was in the top 10, 7th place for the hometown driver. We say hometown driver a lot in this series. For Karina, it is as real as it gets. Local to Night City. This is where she was born and raised. She did a lot of dirt racing here on the West Coast, and now gets to do it in the Champ Car World Series on the concrete here in Arasaka Arena. She starts on the inside of Jake Carter. Natalia Kurachenko and Asada Kito round out your top 10 here this evening. Just out of the top 10 on the starting grid, Aspasia Megalos and Yuya Ishii. They make up row number 6 alongside Katrina Ochoa and Rachel Koivanemi. Jake Carter and Rika Venäläinen, last week's race winner, or 2 weeks ago's race winner from Phoenix, in row 8. Nara Takarasi and Katerina Milenkovic in row 9. Row 10, Seth Smith Jr. and Roberto Crown Jr. make up that row. Outside the top 20, you have to find Maria Chavez and Valerie Fang in row 11. Keisha Fox and Sora Hoshino in row 12. Row 13, Sonia Walker and Luisa Floros. Yumina Mizuno and Mia Vitsut in row 14 and row 15. The top 30 earmarked and rounded out by Isabel Launcher, the points leader, and Karina Amara. Arashi Seto and Kira Moore round out the final and 16th row in the field here this evening. And it is, again, a jammed-packed grid. 32 cars, all of them able to go quicker than 13 seconds. Low 13s on the high tire wear. Right out of the gate, we're going to see lap times closer to 12.7, 12.8 out of the gate. For a half mile, that is insane. A lot of high speeds here in Night City. And the high speeds don't really stop. We go from Arasaka Arena, we go just up the road. Sorry, just down the road, excuse me. Wrong direction. We go down towards Auto Club Speedway, Fontana, California, just outside of LA. We have to go and make a stop there at Auto Club Speedway. Then we head back up the road to Sonoma, California for Sonoma Raceway, the first road course race in the United States. We had the season opener Adelaide. It's been oval since, and it will be until we get to Sonoma on April 21st. And then we head back for the Gamebridge 300 at Indianapolis in May. So pretty action-packed opening stanza. Again, 2 different race winners, Lantra at Adelaide, Venäläinen in Phoenix. And we get to see more of this here tonight. If someone can add their names as a national championship race winner. We're a few seconds away from seeing the command to fire engines. But you see the points running at the bottom of your screen. Lantra with 81 points. Venäläinen with the win in Phoenix puts her 23 points back. We'll send it trackside and we'll continue from there.
Drivers, start your engines!
The top 10 in points all over the grid here in Night City. Riikka Venäläinen second in points, further down the order in 16th on the starting grid. Felicia Zappa third in points, 25 behind Lantra on the front row here for Swiss Autosport. And you see the capacity crowd here in Arasaka Arena, home of the Night City Corsairs in the NFL, and home to the Champ Car World Series and the Champ Car Challenger Series. The World Series will be here later this year. Pace truck already in pit lane. You see the high banking. So uncharacteristic for a track of this size. And the 32 drivers have to master it. Green flag is in the air, and the NiCola 225 is underway. Paul Strix out to an early jump. And here comes Damata. The yellow and blue Iparanga, number 8 of Damata, a race winner in the World Series last year for Atomic Autosport. Racing for the developmental program, reviving the Black Rose Racing name. Going for the race lead. Polstrix leads lap 1. First lap led for Polstrix in the National Championship. The Challenger Series alive and well. Race 3. As they come around the back straightaway. Lightning lap times here in Night City. Paul Strix continues to lead, relying on that outside lane. Damata using clean air on that inside lane to hold on and stay ahead of Felicia Zappa there in the 3rd spot, that Amazon number 50. Swiss Autosport sitting right there in line, as is the first of the Crystal Cove cars. That's Del Blanco. Graduating from the Atlantic Championship over as Polstrix leads, but under a severe threat from Damata for the front of the field. The Canadian and the Brazilian side by side. And Damata's got that car tuned in to run the inside lane. Lead change for the first time tonight. And it is Damata that gets clear. Polstrix trying to defend from Zappa, the Italian, in 3rd. So far, doing just that. But you're seeing Zappa, who started on the outside lane, had to drop a spot early to try to get to the inside lane. 2 different distinct groups, depending on what you have your car set up for. Obviously, Polstrix set up for the outside lane. Damata and Zappa set up for the inside lane. And you're seeing that course of attack. Zappa challenging, as is Riley on Blanco. Rex Riley, the sophomore driver for Fortune Racing, both of them qualified top 10. Zappa goes up to 2nd as Polstrix drops down to 3rd, and Riley battles for 4th. Similar color cars here, but they are not teammates. This is Isabel Espinosa for Escuderia Aguia, the Royal Crown Cola machine, fighting with Jake Carter, the former Team Impulse development driver, now moving to Crystal Cove Racing, working with his teammate who also qualified top 10. And you saw there the Ford Raptor pace car just sitting in wait. A moment's notice can really change this race in a heartbeat. Side by side, it's Sakurauchi in the 12, Kurachenko in the 40. Sakurauchi at home, 3 wide. And that was Crystal Cove trying to get around. Believe that was Rex Riley, it is. But look at the gap that they have given the top 3. Polstrix has a lot of clean space behind to rally a charge against Zappa, as Damata leads and continues to lead. Last car in the field at the moment is Valerie Feng, the 54 for Phoenix Motorsports. Battling right now with Kira Moore and Mia Vitsu. And you have Karina Amara in the 4, that blue and white Aegean Airlines machine for Face Poria. Getting passed by the 52 of Arashi Seto for Team Sakura. There is the 45, Isabel Lantra. The points leader has struggled to make inroads, and you see the traffic ahead being the reason why. Mizuno battling with Milenkovic. as the laps tick by at a frantic pace, almost 4 laps a minute here in Night City, and that's going to be very useful. 450 laps is the distance for 225 miles. Primary tires on these Champ Car machines, as you see Sonia Walker battling with Roberto Crown Jr., a couple of NAMR Cup Series drivers as a car is in pit lane. Couldn't get a good gauge as to who that was. I guess we'll get a report on that shortly. They made their way down pit lane. We do not have cameras that far into pit lane, but we will get a gauge and report to you. That looked like an engine failure, though, and a pretty quick dropout for Felicia Zappa. That's who fell out of the group. That's why Pulstrix is up at second. Felicia Zappa with a gearbox failure. The first retirement, down to 32nd in a heartbeat in the early goings of this race after battling for the second spot with Pulstrix, now out with a gearbox failure. So no penalty. Penalties only apply for engine failures. Gearbox failure saves Zappa from a 10th-place grid penalty for the next race in Auto Club in Fontana. But what a hit that does to her ambitions in the point standings from second place, already half a race behind Lantra, will certainly not gain here in Night City. An early night out for Felicia Zappa, as it's now once again a 2-horse race at the front of the field. And you see the 56 of Blanco trying to make inroads here, but 2 seconds adrift of the race leader. Rex Riley in 4th, firmly in 4th, ahead of Carter. Then you have Kurachenko, that Alienware number 40. Up in 6th, Sakurachi in 7th, trying to hold on to it ahead of Isabel Espinoza and Aspasia Megalos. And then you have Jace Clark. There's another car down pit lane. Again, don't know who that was in pit lane, but another car in pit lane early here in the first 30 laps in Night City at the NiCola 225. And it is Katrina Ochoa, 27, reportedly in pit lane. And that is an engine failure for Ochoa. Engine failure for the 27. That is a 10-place grid drop for Ochoa for Auto Club. 2 retirements very early in this race. Does have to press pause for the reliability and the attrition that's possible here on the half mile. Right now we're looking, this is Nara Takarasi, the former Indianapolis 500 winner, back full-time in Champ Car competition in the Challenger Series for Frostfire Racing. Takarasi in the 10th spot now. Got around Megalos for that 10th spot. Megalos down to 11th, under threat from Seth Smith Jr. and Rachel Cuevanemi. Takarasi trying to attack Jace Clark, the Black Rose Racing driver. 2 of them in the top 10. Maria D'Amata, the race leader, as Espinoza tries to attack the 55 of Carter. With Sakurachi just ahead and Kurachenko just ahead of that. Meanwhile, Pulstrix has just gotten ahead of D'Amata, back to the race lead. New race leader once again. It is the Canadian at the front of the field here in California. Fast lap a 12.808 set by Katerina Milenkovic, who is right now sitting in the 29th position, battling with Araji Seto and Kira Moore. Traffic, the big equalizer, and you're seeing the race leaders approaching that lap traffic with Milenkovic a part of it. That's Moore. That is Hoshino, that is Seto and Milenkovic, the 4 that are up next to be lapped first ones to be lapped on track. 2 retirements, Ochoa and Zappa. And the leaders approaching that traffic now, out of 4. Sorry, out of 2, approaching 3 and 4. Pit entry off of turn 2. With how the pit lane is set up, it goes underneath the grandstands. D'Amata back to the race lead, another lead change between these two. They've been the only race leaders so far. D'Amata's led the lion's share of the opening laps. Completing lap number 46. It's lap 47 now. You see Kira Moore trying to stay on the lead lap if possible. There's Rex Riley. Up to 3rd, ahead of Dale Blanco. Teammates battling, Blanco and Carter. Near identical race cars here. As Carter tries to get ahead, the 55. Carter on the inside lane gets clear for 4th. And now Blanco, who did a really good job on the start, beginning to slide backwards. Now under attack from Kurachenko, the Striker Motorsports driver, trying to make her way into the top 5. Has a nose advantage. Just can't seem to get clear there for the top 5. Sakurauchi, Espinoza, and Clark also in the group. Blanco tried pinching down, did not work. Lost 5th, easily lost 5th there. Not sure if he got loose and had to correct it, but either way had to get out of it. And now in 6th, but also checked up, Espinoza, Sakurauchi, and Takarasi and company. Also in this group, Clark, Seth Smith Jr., and Yuya Ishii. Megalosis continues to drop back as well. There's Asada Kito in the 22. 29, there is Maria Chavez battling with Koi Vanemi, Lantra, and Keisha Fox. Outside the top 10, this is for the 15th position is what we're fighting for right now. It was Koi Vanemi's. Chavez wants it, and through 3 and 4 has it. And now teammates will battle back and forth for Arrowhead Racing. Trying to drive around, that is the 23 of Mizuno. And Roberto Crown Jr. had to go way down the racetrack here. Was not happy to be 3 wide and lost spots as a result, but saved the race car. Slotted in right in front of the 75 of Floros. And now being passed by Valerie Fang, and now you're seeing the giant hornet's nest, because there are the race leaders. D'Amata putting Kira Moore a lap down officially. And now Bolstrix has to do the same. Riley not too far away from having to do this as well, as D'Amata leads early. D'Amato working her way around some of those lap traffic here as we approach lap 70 of 450 here on lap 69 now. It can't get much nicer for D'Amato. It comes around to start lap 70, lapping a former NAMRA Cup Series champion in Sonia Walker, who has not experienced a short track quite like this. Huge learning curve for the champion. Walker sitting right now, looking at the 28th position for Walker, who is now under threat from Milinkovic and Moore. Fighting hard with the race leaders at the moment. It's allowing Arashi Seto and those in front to get a little bit of breathing space and to get clear. That saved both the Team Sakura cars in threat, because there is Hoshino in the 09. Hoshino getting around, that is Mia Vietsuit there, the 35. And Karina Amara, teammates there with the 75 of Floros, just ahead. Trying to work her way forward. Side by side. These two battled at Phoenix for the race lead. Now they're battling just to kind of stay ahead of this group, avoiding going a lap down. It's Roberto Crown Jr. getting ahead of Riikka Venäläinen. There is Keisha Fox for losing the battle with her teammate there, Rachel Koivuniemen, sitting right behind Yumina Mizuno. There's Lantra, there's Koivuniemen tagging along and fighting with Maria Chavez, as well as Asada Kito and Jace Clark. Koivuniemen sitting in the 16th spot. A lot of racing to do here across these 2+ hours. We are only 22 minutes in, and we're already blazing through 78 laps in. And only 2 leaders in this race, D'Amato and Bolstrix, the only 2 that have led laps. That'll change as pit stops take place. You lose and change so many laps around hands here in Night City. So we'll definitely see different people lead laps during the pit stop sequence. But the primary tires, remember, we used the alternates when the World Series came here last go around. Those pit stops will not be immediate. Just ahead of Megalos there is Sakurachi dealing with Yuya Ishii. This is about a 4/10. Ishii currently in the 10th spot, Sakurachi in the 11th spot. In the top 10, obviously we talked about where Ishii was at. 9th is Espinoza, 8th is Seth Smith Jr., Naruto Sakurasi in 7th. And you're seeing some of the lap traffic enter the fray for those battling on the fringes of the top 5. They're trying to get around. That is Kira Moore, who is the last runner on the track, 30th place at the moment. There is Milinkovic as well. This has really allowed Riley, Carter, and Kurachenko and company to catch up to the race leaders, because they have been slower dealing with this traffic, and that's why Sonia Walker still holding up the 8 of D'Amato. For about 20 laps, Sonia Walker was a thorn in D'Amato's side. D'Amato finally getting clear of Walker to sort of give pursuit, while Polstrix still battles with Milinkovic in the 30. The lap traffic throwing hands with the race leaders, trying to avoid going a lap down and losing that precious real estate. And you see Walker staying right there with D'Amato, shadowing the 8 car. Walker definitely not making it easy on D'Amato. D'Amato having to earn this one in the early going. has led 74 laps of this race so far. Paul Strixon's led 16. You see Walker getting right back to the inside there of D'Amata. First through 27th, now separated by 9.9 seconds. That is all the way down to Mia Vitsut there, who is still dealing with the 09 of Hoshino and the 4 of Amata. There is the 52 of Seto, who's gotten around. Amara now trying to get around Valerie Fang and Luisa Floros. Rika Vanalainen in the 87 alongside this fight with Roberto Crown Jr., Keisha Fox, and Maria Chavez. There is Yumina Mizuno also in this group as well. Sakurachi has lost touch with Ishii in this battle for what has become 11th place. Espacio Megalos in 12th, now the closest challenger. And for Sakurachi at home, this is a very important race. Sakurachi helping to pack out the arena here in Night City. The one advantage that the World Series did not have when it packed out the series last year was a local driver. Sakurachi, a dirt track star, a champion here on the West Coast. Trying to add to her resume by joining the Challenger Series, showing that the old pathway from the dirt track to the Brickyard at Indianapolis still alive and well. We've not seen a dirt track star come into Champ Car competition in quite some time. Sakurachi looking to change that right now. Sitting 11th as Espinosa once again battling with Dale Blanco. This is for the 7th spot. Takarasi up in 6th has gotten away from this group. And here comes Seth Smith Jr. on the outside lane as well. The only Swift Autosport car left in this race after Zappa saw an early exit for a gearbox failure. So his shoulder is going to be a little bit heavier now. He slots in front of Espinosa. In the 8th spot, Espinosa in 9th, Ishii 10th. There's Takarasi, there is Kurachenko. And then you see that is Rex Rowley, who has been passed by Jake Carter for 3rd. 2nd place, Emily Polstrix sitting still behind the 8th of Maria D'Amata, who has gotten around and passed both of the Cat Devil racing cars to put them a lap down, and is now working to get around the 52 of Arashi Seto. Seto, the last car on the lead lap right now in 26th position. Trying to stay that way. One of Seto's teammates, Sora Hoshino, up ahead, and that 09 car in 25th. Maria D'Amato working pretty quickly on putting cars a lap down, especially compared to Amity Polstrix. But remember how quick these laps are. We're already over 112 laps in, 116 laps in now to this race. Frantic lap times on the board again, 4 laps a minute. And then some in change. Not even that slow. The slowest car on the track is still running 13.3s. Maria D'Amato, just a couple laps ago, ran a 13.1. Before that, at 12.9. Here comes the challenge as D'Amato tries to get around the 52 Aceto. Polstrix mired in lap traffic here. D'Amato sees clean real estate up ahead, trying to get to it though, and having to work the long way around the inside lane. Typically, the inside lane's the preferred lane. Here, it's not so much. The outside lane's a great defensive lane. You get so much momentum on the outside lane. You're seeing that's what Seto is using to hold on to the lead lap. But unfortunately, it's been a caution-free race. Nothing's really going to bail out the 52 from the overall pace of the Ada D'Amato. We're on lap 122, coming to lap 123 here. And it is a fantastic run so far for D'Amato. He was trying to really just usher in some good luck for the Atomic Autosport team, who begin their first race with their upgrades in the World Series tomorrow at Texas. D'Amato trying to usher on some good form for Evangeline Porter and Natalia Kurchenko tomorrow by winning tonight. Early retirements in the first 30 laps of this race was Felicia Zappa and Katrina Ochoa. Since then, it's stabilized. We have 4 cars a lap down, trying to be 5 if Maria D'Amato can find her way around the 52 of Arashi Seto. But 30 cars still running. As we come around to start lap 130. Coming on the start-finish line to start lap 131, we'll have 320 laps to go here in Night City. It has been a wild ride so far. But so far, given the amount of cars on track, it's been a pretty clean race. Looking up ahead, that is the 09 Sora Hoshino alongside the 54 of Valerie Fang, the 4 of Karina Amara. There's Luisa Floros. Rika Vanalainen, there is Maria Chavez, Keisha Fox, Roberta Crown and company. And then this cluster out just alongside the top 10. Sakurauchi trying to hold on to the 11th spot. There's Isabella Espinosa, who is now in 10th. Person that got dropped out of the top 10 once again was Aspasia Megalos, who had worked her way forward, but then got worked all the way back down. And now this group still struggling to get around Kira Moore. Jake Carter had gotten around. Takarasi's gotten around Rex Riley. Riley's struggling big time to find a way around the 67. Almost like kryptonite there for the 72 car. who has been dispatched by Takarasi, the 57, up to 4th and up to clear her teammate. More cleared by Takarasi, who is now 4th with clean air. And Rex Riley still needs to do the exact same thing. Carter's caught right up to the tail of the lead field here. Milinkovic separating Carter from Pulsatrix. And importantly, D'Amato's gotten around Arasaka Seto. So now it's open season to close the gap down to the 09 of Hoshino and the 54 of Fang. And Maria D'Amato seems undeniable, has led 123 laps today. Pulsatrix has led 16. And you're seeing D'Amato just leave a wide open gap here to the cars behind, the lap traffic that she spent so long trying to get around are in the dust. So the Ipiranga, Ford number 8 of Maria D'Amato, leads this race and has doubled that advantage on the timesheets already. Pulsatrix still struggling to get around Sonia Walker. And Jake Carter has been slowed down almost to a stop as far as momentum is concerned to the 30 of Milinkovic. Walker on the outside, still defending from Amity Pulsatrix, who's going to be frustrated with the lap traffic after starting this race on pole position. Has opened up a nearly 2-second advantage in this race over Pulsatrix and Jake Carter, now on an island. Continues to pull away here. And we talked about the primary tires. They're already almost over 150 laps into this race and still no signs of stopping here. Watching this battle, Pulsatrix still unable to really make any inroads, but Carter's also struggling now, and here comes Pulsatrix, not Pulsatrix, but Takarasi, the challenge for that 3rd spot. Takarasi in the 57 has gotten to this group, and Rex Riley's not far away either. But lap traffic and dirty air, a big neutralizer To those trying to make some inroads here, Sakurachi in the number 12 has gotten around Isabel Espinosa for the top 10. Masada Kito alongside the 22, or sorry, wrong side, 66 of Espacio Megalos. Kito's in the 22. Chase Clark in the 9, also trying to get around the Greek driver as Kito gets clear. Kito up to the 12th spot. 11th is Espinosa. And look at that, Isabel Elantra, the points leader. Not a great qualifying performance 2 weeks in a row, but able to drive forward in a massive way. Watching as the field sort of battles its way through here. The ebbs and flows continues. Remember, Valerie Fang no longer safe. Now the last car on the lead lap, and here comes Maria Damata to challenge to put more cars a lap down. Seems like cars are not too far away from potentially making their first pit stop of the race. Firestone has built an incredibly durable tire. There's 52 of Arashi Seto. Seto now a lap down in 26th. Valerie Fang, the next car up, trying to get back around the 09 of Sora Hoshino. And we talk about why it's so difficult for drivers like Bolstrix to get through the field and lap some of these cars. In qualifying, remember, for those that didn't tune in and watch on ABN Plus yesterday, qualifying from 1st to 32nd, the margin of difference was 0.045. Less than half a hundredth separated first and last in qualifying. These cars, despite the disparity in the field from first to last, are extremely close. It is a margin of inches when we talk about why it's so difficult to make passes here. And we put 32 of them on the same racetrack and gave them all the downforce in the world and 800 horsepower and said, go nuts. And you're seeing that now. Obviously, the race leader, Maria Damata, on something different here this afternoon. But it's not always that easy, and you're seeing the effects of that. And in fairness for Maria Damata, lap times have not dramatically changed. 13.0 for Damata, only 0.2 slower than their fastest lap. Lap times very consistent for the race leader. We're about to complete 200 laps here in just a couple minutes, and it has been domination from start to finish so far for Maria D'Amata. Had a really good starting position, did not start front row, didn't need to. Let Amity Pulstrix lead the way. Pulstrix led 16 laps early on, and Maria D'Amata has not looked back since, has led every lap since. Frantic lap times being set down still. Maria D'Amata now down in the 13.1s. Only driver faster right now is Takarasi in fourth. Almost 3 seconds behind. Because what Maria D'Amata worked so hard to get through, that group is still fighting with. Lap 190 in the books. Looking to complete lap 191 now is D'Amata. We're going to be in halfway here rapidly. And still no pit stop here for this group. And I've noticed, just looking at the telemetry, no shifting either. Everyone riding around in sixth. Typically, at short tracks like this, at least what we saw last year, we had a lot of shifting. You know, from sixth to fifth, fifth, sometimes maybe to fourth if you're in traffic. D'Amata's at least stayed in sixth all race. And that's not something I think that we were expecting to see. And caution is out for the first time in the night, and you see the smoke cloud that has checked the field up. What happened here to draw the first caution of the night and the chaos that's about to ensue from this? Car in the pit wall, that is Karina Amara. This caution had already come out. Oh, trouble. That is Seto, who got moved. That is the 55 of Carter. And you're going to see a lot of melee here, and that's what we saw the end of. With a lot of cars getting involved. Arashi Seto having an engine failure. So this is going to shake a lot of things up, because I don't know if these drivers pit when pit lane was open. So this will be very interesting. Takarasi was one of the first ones to come down pit lane. I don't believe Takarasi was supposed to come down pit lane at that time, because we still had a car in the pit wall with Karina Amara. Several cars out. Kurachenko, Riley, Crown, Seto all out. At least from the immediate reports that we've gotten from the field. Seto with an engine failure. Karina Mara could also be out of this race as well. And I would not be surprised if some of the drivers that came in early, when you look at Takarasi and Blanco and Ishii, I would not be surprised if there is a penalty that has to be served. Now, granted, they have been pinned behind the pace car. They are not race leaders. Your race leader is Polstrix right here. Polstrix gotten ahead of Maria Damata due to the confusion with the pace laps and the caution and everything. Maria Damata down in second, but a lot of lap cars in between. And you're going to see a lot of those lap cars move to the inside lane. Saw damage on the 44 car as well. That's Ishii with a lot of front wing damage involved in that accident. Lights out on the Ford Raptor pace car. And we're down to 25 runners in this field. Green flag is out and away we go. And immediately the slow car of Ishii in the way. And we will see if there are penalties to serve. We're checking on if there is a penalty to serve for Takarasi, Ishii, or Del Blanco. And the answer to that question so far has been no. Polstrix leads, but it is a frantic calamity of cars all around the 71. They have the advantage, but remember the car that's better in the traffic, and that's the 8 of Maria Damata. Car just not getting out of pit lane was Miavitsu. And Vitsu did have a drive through the serve for entering a closed pit for emergency service. They did take service, and you see the damage in the front wing. They had a flat tire. They had to come in, change that. Emergency service got them a black flag for emergency service for entering a closed pit lane. But they are the only penalty served. And the mayhem in this group is amplified. Polstrix struggling in traffic, Damata closing in. The fight is on. And trouble already. A lot of cars having to change direction. What happened there? Car in the wall. I believe that was Espinoza. Not sure why or what happened. It was Espinoza that tagged the wall, but she is still going. Damata still second place. Polstrix up the road here. Got a huge panned out on that. Venalainen struggling to stay on the lead lap here. is still fighting. Venäläinen in the 6th spot right now. Again, part of the shuffle that we saw from the first caution. Most of the field did go a lap down. Venäläinen one of those trying to avoid going a lap down here. Cars closing in. This is Takarasi, who's also a lap down here, as well as Keisha Fox in this fight. There is Yuya Ishii and Dethreda going 2 laps down here in a little bit. See, there is the 57 of Takarasi getting her lap back as Polstrix gets held up by Karina Amara. Heading past the halfway point. The tides have definitely changed here in Night City. See the whole gaggle of cars here. Everyone trying to work their way around. We're going to keep it non-stop here on ABN Sports, but we're going to step aside for a break. Don't go anywhere. The NiCola 225 continues here in Night City with Amity Polstrix leading the way. We are back from our technical services break. Obviously going back from caution here after our second caution of the night. What a mix-up in the field we have. Maria D'Amato, one of those involved, after leading 182 laps, now sits 2 laps down. Amount of cars on the lead, lap 11 at the moment, and it is Anthony Polsevich still leading the way. With less than 150 laps to go, still a lot can change and go wrong here. Polsevich, Mizuno, Quito, your top 3, and there they are in tow. Mizuno, the 23, Quito, the 22. Isabel Espinosa, who is one of the first cars a lap down, sitting right now in the 15th position, going for 14th. Nera Takarasi, top 5 at the moment. Make that 4th, having gotten around the 61 of Rachel Cuevanami. See if we can walk you through the field here. A lot has changed during that technical break. We had to step aside due to a technical issue. So let's go ahead and walk you through this field the best we can. Anthony Polsevich continues to lead the way, has now led 128 laps in this race. That is the 35 of Mia Vitsut, who is in 22nd place, 3 laps down. Just ahead of Polsevich is the 55 of Jake Carter, going 2 laps down. He was already 1 lap down, now 2. He was in the 18th spot. Just ahead of that fight is Riikka Venäläinen and Seth Smith Jr. These are the last 2 cars on the lead lap. Venäläinen in the 10th spot, Seth Smith Jr. in 9th. So they are battling inside the top 10 and giving free track, not to Kira Moore. Kira Moore is multiple laps down, 3 laps down as well. As is Milinkovic, who is 2 down. But you look at the drivers like Maria Chavez, who is just ahead right here, is Maria Chavez. A little bit more time for Chavez to try to make something happen here, as well as Luisa Flores, who is now in the top 10 in the 7th spot. Jace Clark in the 6th spot. Yui Ishii, who is involved in both cautions of this race so far today, in 24th, 4 laps down, and obviously off pace there. There is Karina Amara, 5 laps down as part of the incident there that caused the second caution. There is Keisha Fox, who also got a piece of it. Keisha Fox, now a lap down, the last car 1 lap down, as well as Isabel Lontra, who was a lap down in 16th. There's Rachel Cuevanami, as we mentioned, top 5. So it's either you have it or you don't at this point if you're on the lead lap. You see there is Mia Vitsut, there's Amity Polsevich trying to find a way around Riikka Venäläinen. With all the wounded cars in the field. Venäläinen, one of those included. Not hard for Polsevich to make way now. Meanwhile, Asada Quito has gotten around the 23 of Mizuno. Asada Quito up to the 2nd spot. And you see that's where Mizuno is right now, stuck on the outside lane with Valerie Fang to the inside. Fang 1 lap down in 12th. What a disaster race is turning into Coastal Cove Racing. Both cars started top 10, had both cars at points occupying the top 5. Now their best drivers Blanco in 13th and Carter in 18th. Things have definitely fallen apart for that team. Takarasi in fourth, trying to look at a podium spot. Needs to find a way to get to and get around Yumina Mizuno. That's laps tick away. 26 cars still rolling. Katerina Malenkovic, the last car running. Cars retired include Kurachenko, Riley, Crown, Seto, Ochoa, and Zappa. And again, it is a rapid race, even with 2 cautions here in Night City. Watching as Takarasi tries to get to and pass the 23 Mizuno. There's Jace Clark in trouble! And caution's going to come out potentially again. That's close. Going to try to keep it green, and they do. Somehow, some way, they keep it green. Clark was going slow and got assisted basically to getting to pit lane by Takarasi. You see where Takarasi fell in that exchange. Takarasi now behind once again, the 61 of Koivanemi. There is Sakurachi in 13th, the hometown driver from right here in Night City. Trying to race forward as well. Jace Clark retiring with a gearbox failure. That's why he was slow on the racetrack. And his day essentially just being finished off with that slide to the pit lane entry. Here comes Koivanemi after Mizuno's third place spot. Mizuno's trapped behind Ishii. The Hyundai Motorsport number 44 on the outside lane has just handed Koivanemi a potential podium. But Koivanemi's got to hold on to it. And Mizuno getting desperate, trying to get to the inside lane. Got really loose there, trying to make the transition work. But will finally get around the 44 after losing a spot. Sakurachi holding off. That is Takarasi, the 57. Takarasi in 5th, Chavez 6th, Flores 7th, the last car on the lead lap. But importantly, as we kind of take a glance back here, see all the cars that have gone a lap down here. Paul Strix trying to work her way forward. Now work to the inside of Ishii. Lina went a lap down. There's been a Lina in that mess. There's Asada Kito in 2nd. Trying to work forward as Walker's worked forward into the top 10. And around Seth Smith Jr. Seth Smith in 10th, Sonia Walker 9th. And there's Valerie Fang in 11th in this group. It also contains Rachel Koivanemi and Yumina Mizuno. Racing all over the place here. As we approach the final 100 laps here in Night City. Polstrix holds a 5.5 second advantage. Arasaka Kito Koivanemi in third, Yumina Mizuno fourth, Nara Takarasi top 5 over Chavez and Floros, your top 7. Then Alainen, Walker, and Smith all lapped down, but in the top 10. As you can see in this battle here, Koivanemi has gotten a chance to really break away and break free of that group and try to really just kind of extend a bit of a gap here and try to really catch up to Kito for second. Kito has not gotten any better. Still sitting in second, but now 6 seconds he's lost all the time that he was working on gaining, being behind this group. And now Koivanemi's in the mix trying to get that second spot. Polstrix continues to lead the way. And the pole sitter now approaching the driver that led the most laps in this race up to this point. 182 laps for Maria D'Amata, who's about to go another lap down, make this 3 down once Polstrix gets around. Polstrix got around D'Amata there to put D'Amata 3 laps down. And now Polstrix and D'Amata have the same laps led, but Polstrix looking set to just take over most of the laps led. Had to lead 225 to just secure those bonus points for laps led. Cars will be coming down pit lane here for the last stops of the race. And caution's out, actually. Caution is out, and they're going to pick up the race leader here. So a caution has come out, and we're not sure why, and it is for a car stopped on track, Sakurachi, who had to be towed back to pit lane. I believe it is an engine failure for Sakurachi, the hometown driver. So third caution of the night, and it's Sakurachi who ends up out of this race with an engine failure at home. And oh, here goes Pulsatrix. Speaking of engine failures, this could be one for Pulsatrix, who has to bail from the lead of the race with some sort of mechanical failure. Oh dear. That gives the race lead to Asada Kito. But my, how that changes things. New race leader Asada Kito with Amity Pulsatrix out of this race. Sakurachi and Pulsatrix out with engine failures in the span of 5 laps. And now we're down to 24. It is Asada Kito, Rachel Koivanemi, Yumina Mizuno, Nara Takarasi, Luisa Floros, and Maria Chavez, your 6 cars on the lead lap. This is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out now. Green flag's going to fly, and it will be Asada Kito's control. And the melee begins again for the 3rd time on this restart. So Kito leads now. And has largely survived the melee. You're looking for the back here. You have to look at Rachel Koivanemi, who is still very much in it, and only a 1 car separating Koivanemi from Nara Takarasi for 2nd. Luisa Floros also now in with a shout, battling with Yumina Mizuno. in the top 5. Flores has gotten around Mizuno for 4th. And now tries to set sights on Takarasi and Koivanemi. Dollar Fang stuck there behind Seth Smith Jr. Takarasi not able to make any inroads there on her fight with Takarasi. Car down pit lane. Who was that? Was that Sonya Walker? It was Sonya Walker coming down pit lane. And it's Walker out with another engine failure. The 36 is out with an engine failure. So attrition kicking in heavily in the last 50 laps of this race. We are down to 23. Flores challenging the 57 of Takarasi for 3rd place. Last step on the rostrum. Flores trying to bring a podium for Faceporia. Currently has it because Takarasi's pinned behind Ishii. Also around for 4th place goes Mizuno. Mizuno in with a shot for podium. So now can Mizuno get to Luisa Flores for that last step on the podium? Because right now Koivanemi looks pretty lofty up there in that 2nd spot. And Koivanemi is just 2nd away from Asada Kito, who's looking for his first win in the World Series, in the Challenger Series, excuse me, after he spent years in the World Series and went winless. The GP1 champion from 2020. Finally establishing himself in North America. There is Luisa Flores, the 75, trying to make some inroads here on Seth Smith Jr., who was a lap down in 8th. Talked about it early on with Zappa's failure to finish due to a gearbox failure. Put all the weight on Seth Smith Jr. to try to get some decent points. So far, 8th place, pretty decent given the circumstances. But he is surrounded by a podium fight between Floros and Mizuno. Floros got through. Mizuno's trying to do the exact same thing. And Quito once again opening the gap up, shadowing the gearbox of Maria Damata, while Koivuniemen has to deal with Milinkovic and Venäläinen. Floros stays in 3rd, now with a car buffer and change over Mizuno, who now has more to worry about with the recovery of Takarasi. Takarasi top 5, Maria Chavez in 6th, not too far away. There's Chavez behind Lantra and Vitsu. Mizuno got around Smith, trying to get around the Crystal Cove car of Jake Carter. And Takarasi will do the exact same thing. Takarasi in range and fighting for a podium. Trying to get it through Mizuno to make it happen. 36 laps to go. Floros checked out. Got clear, got some daylight. Not looking back at the moment. Looking ahead because Koivuniemi's in this group that Floros is approaching now. Koivuniemi looking for a 2nd place. Has lost touch with Quito once again, over 2 seconds away. But what a podium this would be for both Koivuniemi and for Floros. You know, talk about really kicking things off, that'd be a way to do it. Damata opened the stanza up with 182 laps led almost consecutively. Polstrix followed up with 191 before falling out with an engine failure. Polstrix will get the most laps led points with Damata several laps down. Trouble! And that is huge trouble. That is Damata in it, as well as Venäläinen. Cautions out for the 4th time. And that was just behind the race leader, who is right here in this group. And it's going to pin everyone that is not Asada Quito, either a lap down or very close to it. Remember, Koivuniemi 2nd place. Floros in 3rd. And there's Takarasi in the group. There's Mizuno. This pins just about the entire field a lap down after contact between Maria Damata and Rika Venäläinen. And this is what happened. This is actually, sorry, the lap after caution. This, again, there is Asada Quito in this group, and all Maria Damata came to a stop, and Asada Quito was involved. So Maria Damata with an issue. We don't know what that issue was. It's not been reported to us yet. But Asada Quito did not get out of that contact free, but also elected to not pit. And why not? You have almost a lap buffer on the field to sort of deal with it for the last 20 some odd laps. 24 right now. The Ford Raptor pace car leads the field around. Ramada back out on track with whatever the issue was and gaining at the end of the field. The lights going out on the pace truck. Field to double up. It's a very quiet group at the top lane. It was all of those that were looking to battle for a podium. Asada Quito not out of the woods yet. He got a piece of it. How bad was it? Car with an engine failure in the back. That is one of the Crystal Cove cars. That is Blanco. His race comes to an end. Blanco retiring from 12th position. He was the last car one lap down. And now his race is over. Green flag in the air. Away we go. Koivanemi looking to set sail, as is Luisa Flores. Meanwhile, Maria Chavez trying to find a way around Yumina Mizuno. Following Nara Takarasi as they try to get around the race leader, Asada Quito. Not only that, Takarasi fighting with Luisa Flores for the podium potentially. How much does Quito want to fight? The answer to that question, not at all. Because we were mistaken. He is not the race leader. Koivanemi was. Koivanemi the race leader, and Quito still wounded, picking up suspension damage. Our timing screen didn't reload until after the green flag, but Quito definitely not the race leader, and now not even on the podium. So that scramble was for position, as is this. Chavez trying to get around. And Quito, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, has now given way for a potential maiden champ car victory for Finland's Rachel Koivanemi. And another engine failure for Dale Blanco. A lot of templates grid drops for Auto Club for Fontana in just a week's time. Only blessing out of that is that's Auto Club Speedway. Way easier track to pass at than Night City. But right now we're looking at your race leader, Rachel Koivanemi, who was top 10 in the points going in. Points leader, Isabel Lantra, a lap down behind, excuse me. Lantra's made a lap back, was 2 laps down, now only 1 down, and challenging to get that lap back and be back on the lead lap at the finish. There's Luisa Flores, second place on the road at the moment. Then you have Nara Takarasi in third, Asada Quito holding on to the top 4 ahead of Maria Chavez, and Yumina Mizuno, your top 6. But it's all eyes in pursuit of Rachel Koivanemi and the 61 Arasaka machine for Arrowhead Racing. Coming in 9 laps to go, 441 laps completed. 9 laps remain. And they will tick away quickly. 2 minutes approximately left. 8 to go. Lantra now the only car up next. Moore has been dispatched by Lantra and now dispatched by Luisa Flores, the second place car. Takarasi under threat for third. There's Asada Quito, who still has to deal with Maria Chavez as well as Yumina Mizuno. 21 cars running at the finish with 7 laps to go. Lantra shadowing in 7th place at the moment. Minimizing any damage that could have taken place here in Night City. Lantra could have been one of the multiple cars out, one of the 11 cars out of this race. Instead, Lantra will fight to get a lap back and be one of the 7 cars running on the lead lap at the finish, and Koivanemi will not fight it too awful hard here. Lantra gets clear. Because we're coming down to the final 3 laps. 3 laps remain in Night City, and it is in the hands of Finland's Rachel Koivanemi, who is looking for the first time in Champ Car history to have 2 drivers win from its nation back-to-back. Riikka Venäläinen won at Phoenix. Koivanemi will see through and bring around that 61 Toyota for the white flag. 1 lap to go in the NiCola 225. Lantra will finish on the lead lap, but it will be all eyes on Koivanemi, who becomes a Champ Car race winner ahead of Luisa Floros, who gets on the podium, and Nera Takarasi rounds out the top 3 ahead of Asada Kito, Maria Chavez, and Yumina Mizuno, your top 6. Lantra 7th over Isabel Espinoza, Seth Smith Jr., and Valerie Fang rounding out the top 10. Riikka Venäläinen just barely missing out. In 11th place ahead of Aspasia Megalos, Keisha Fox in 13th, Mia Vitsut, Kira Moore, Jake Carter, Katerina Malenkovic, Maria Damata, Karina Amaris, Sori Hoshino, and Yuya Ishii, the 21 finishers here in this race. And there is a large list of DNFs. Dale Blanco, the last of the bunch, finishing 22nd with an engine failure. Engine failure is the name of the game. Sonia Walker, Amity Polstrix, Karina Sakurachi also with an engine failure. Jace Clark, Natalia Kurichenko, Rex Riley out with that first caution crash, as was Roberto Crown Jr., Arashi Seto out with an engine failure, as well as Katrina Ochoa. Felicia Zappa bailing out from that 10th-place grid drop, a gearbox failure instead, ending her day after just 21 laps. Secures your 32 drivers in the field. The points, they are going to shake up dramatically as we head to Auto Club, where they're sure to shake up even more going through the California swing. We stay in California for the Challenger Series throughout the month of April. Next week, April 7th, it is Auto Club Speedway for the AAA 300, and then we go to Sonoma Raceway on April 21st, the last race before we head to Indianapolis for a race in wine country. Rachel Koivanemi, a Champ Car race winner for the first time, ahead of Luisa Floros and Nera Takarasi. Night City, once again, a frantic race with 32 cars, 21 finishers, and a lot more learned from Arasaka Arena. That will do it from us here in Night City. Join us tomorrow as we go to Texas Motor Speedway for the American Heart Association 600. That'll be a frantic fight for 248 laps. Racing doubleheader. We'll have it next weekend as well between the Challenger Series and the World Series. But for everyone here for the Firestone Champ Car Challenger Series, everyone here at Night City for the Arasaka Arena, and everyone here at ABN Sports, thank you all so much. I'm Carmen Sienna. We'll see you tomorrow in Texas. We'll see you next week at Auto Club and at Nashville. Until next time, so long, everybody.